The conference room smelled like leather and expensive cologne. 3:17 p.m. Wednesday. The Pinnacle Innovation Center, downtown Seattle. Sign the settlement, Mia. Derek's voice carried that Silicon Valley smugness I'd once mistaken for confidence. Rachel's lawyer made it generous. $20,000. That's more than fair for someone who contributed nothing. Rachel, 24, perched on the edge of the table in a Stella McCartney blazer, her platinum hair catching the light from floor-to-ceiling windows. She examined her reflection in her phone screen. Honestly, Mia, you should be grateful. She didn't look up. Derek's being kind. Most tech entrepreneurs wouldn't give their deadweight ex-wives anything. I said nothing. My old navy sweater had a coffee stain on the cuff. My hands rested on my worn leather portfolio, the only expensive thing I carried, though they didn't know why. But let me take you back. 8 weeks earlier. That's when Derek stopped pretending. 8 weeks earlier, the smell of burned circuits and energy drinks filled Derek's garage-turned office. 11:43 p.m. Another all-nighter while he built his revolutionary app. I'd brought soup. Homemade. He didn't look up from his laptop. Just leave it, Mia. I'm busy. You haven't eaten in 12 hours. Rachel brought me a green smoothie earlier. She gets it. She understands hustle culture. He finally looked at me. You wouldn't understand. You've never built anything. I set down the soup. My hands smelled like onions and thyme. I'd spent 3 hours cooking after my shift at the bookstore. That's what Derek thought I did. Quiet little job for a quiet little wife. How's the funding search going? Why do you care? He closed his laptop. It's not like you can help. This is serious money, Mia. Series of funding. Venture capital. Not your world. Not my world. Right. My phone buzzed. A text from James, my partner at Apex Ventures. Atlas wants to pivot. Meeting tomorrow at 10. Your call. Atlas Corporation. Our portfolio company. One of 15 I managed, overseeing $400 million in assets. I silenced the phone. You should get some sleep, I said quietly. You should stop acting like you understand my life. 4 weeks later, Derek brought Rachel to our apartment. Sunday brunch. She arrived in head-to-toe Lululemon, carrying a yoga mat like a weapon. Mia. Derek's voice had that false enthusiasm he used with difficult clients. Rachel's the new marketing consultant for the app. She's brilliant. Stanford MBA. We're lucky to have her. Rachel's handshake was aggressive, challenging. Her eyes swept over our modest living room, cataloging the IKEA furniture, the Target throw pillows, the life I'd deliberately kept simple. This is cozy. She smiled. Derek said you kept things humble. Now I see why he feels so constrained here. The frittata I'd made sat between us at the small dining table. Mimosas and mismatched glasses. This is delicious, Derek said, scrolling his phone while he ate. Very homey. Rachel, you should taste this. It's the kind of simple cooking Mia's good at. On plant-based. Rachel sipped her mimosa. I couldn't eat something so heavy, but I'm sure it's fine for people who don't watch their intake. I cut my frittata. The fork made no sound. Derek, Rachel leaned close. Show her the deck. She should see what we're building. He pulled out his laptop. Presentation slides filled the screen. Old fonts. Gradient backgrounds. Stock photos of diverse millennials looking inspired. This is Engage Flow. It's going to revolutionize social commerce. We're pitching to investors next month. His eyes glowed. Apex Ventures is our top target. They're the best in Seattle. If we land them, we're golden. I took a sip of mimosa. What's your valuation? Rachel laughed. Do you even know what that means? She doesn't need to know. Derek closed the laptop. This is business, Mia. Your world is smaller. Safer. You handle the home stuff. I handle the empire building. Speaking of which, Rachel set down her glass. Derek and I have something to tell you. The room contracted. Everything narrowed to Derek's face. Rachel's triumphant smile. The weight of my wedding ring. We're in love. It happened naturally. Two ambitious people collaborating, creating, building something real. Derek wouldn't meet my eyes. You're a good person, Mia, but you can't grow with me. You don't understand this world. You never did. Rachel's hand covered his on the table. No ring yet, but the intention was clear. We've already drafted a settlement agreement. Simple, clean, fair. Derek pulled papers from his laptop bag. $20,000. The apartment is leased in my name anyway. You keep whatever personal items you want. The words hung in the air like smoke. $20,000 for 6 years of marriage. You brought nothing to this relationship financially. Rachel answered, not Derek. No income. No assets. No network. Derek supported you. This is generous. Generous, I repeated softly. Don't be dramatic. Derek's jaw tightened. You work part-time at a bookstore, Mia. I built a company. The math isn't complicated. The math, I said. Sign the papers. Tomorrow. My lawyer's office, 3 p.m. Don't drag this out. Rachel and I have a pitch meeting with Apex Ventures in 2 weeks. We need to focus. Apex Ventures. My firm. My decision. My money. Which brings us back to now. To this moment. To the conference room where Derek thinks he's about to meet his future. Sign Mia. Rachel's voice dripped condescension. Unless you want this to get ugly. Derek's building something important. Don't be the bitter ex who ruins it out of spite. Bitter ex ruins it. I picked up the pen. My hands shook. Just slightly, letting them see weakness. The helpless wife. The woman who'd fade quietly. Just one question. I looked at Derek. Your pitch to Apex Ventures. That's real? You submitted the application? Obviously. He exchanged a glance with Rachel. Why? I smiled. It felt strange, that smile. Like shedding old skin. No reason. I just wanted to hear you say it. The pen touched paper. Then the conference room door opened. Don't answer that door. Derek's voice carried an edge. Sign first. James Chin stood in the doorway. Partner at Apex Ventures. My right hand for 7 years. Impeccable in his Tom Ford suit. Mr. Hartwell? Miss Shaw. He nodded to them. I'm James Chun from Apex Ventures. We're scheduled for 3:30. Derek's face lit up. You're early. We're not quite ready. He looked at me. Mia, we need the room. Actually. James's eyes met mine. Miss Takeda, the car is downstairs. Board meeting starts in 20 minutes. Shall I tell them you're delayed? The room went very quiet. Miss Takeda? Rachel's voice pitched high. Her name is Hartwell. Mia Hartwell. I never changed my name. I stood, collecting my portfolio. You never asked to see my ID, Derek. You just assumed. His face had gone white. Mia, what's happening? James, please reschedule Mr. Hartwell's pitch. I'm afraid I have a conflict. Of course. Shall I decline the application entirely, or wait? Derek lurched forward. Decline? You can't decline. You haven't even seen the pitch. You don't have the authority to. James is a partner, I said quietly. But you're right. He doesn't have final authority on applications. Relief flooded Derek's face. I do. I met his eyes. I'm the managing partner at Apex Ventures. I founded it 8 years ago with family money. We oversee a portfolio of $400 million across 43 companies. The words landed like grenades. That's not possible. Rachel's voice shook. You work at a bookstore. You're nobody. I'm Dr. Mia Takeda. PhD in economics from MIT. MBA from Wharton. Daughter of Hiroshi Takeda, who built Takeda Semiconductor. I checked my watch, a Patek Philippe that had been my grandmother's. I'd worn it today deliberately. My bookstore job? I own the building. And the chain. 6 locations. Market research for our retail portfolio investments. Derek couldn't speak. Just stared. The pitches I sat through? I wasn't supporting you, Derek. I was evaluating you. Watching how you treat people, how you make decisions, whether you understand markets or just buzzwords. I smiled. You failed that evaluation months ago. No. The word came out strangled. This is insane. You cooked dinner. You did laundry. You lived like someone who doesn't need to prove her worth with logos and luxury. I moved toward the door. I learned that from my father. Real wealth whispers, Derek. Only insecurity shouts. Rachel's hand flew to her designer bag. Her expression crumbled. Oh my God. You're that Takeda. The venture capital Takedas. I read about you in TechCrunch. The profile last month, yes. They wanted to interview me about women in VC. I declined. Privacy matters to me. Mia, wait. Derek moved toward me. This is a misunderstanding. The thing with Rachel, it's not. We can fix this. Fix this? I looked at him. You want to fix humiliating me? Calling me dead weight? Offering me $20,000 for 6 years while you pitch to my firm for funding? I didn't know. How could I know? You didn't ask. 6 years, Derek. You never asked about my family, my background, my work. You were too busy explaining your world to me. I paused. Did you know I sat on the selection committee for the Techstart incubator? The one you applied to 3 years ago. His face went gray. You got rejected. The notes said, arrogant founder with superficial market understanding and poor treatment of support staff. I abstained from voting. Conflict of interest. But I read those notes every time you explained venture capital to me like I was a child. James cleared his throat. Ms. Takeda, the board meeting? Right. I looked at Derek one last time. Your engage flow pitch. It's derivative. 3 competitors already dominate that space with better tech and deeper market penetration. Your revenue projections are fantasy. Your user acquisition strategy is non-existent. You haven't even seen the full deck. I saw it 2 weeks ago. You left it open on your laptop. I read the whole thing while you were explaining to Rachel how venture capital works. I picked up my portfolio. We're passing on your application. Apex doesn't invest in founders who lack emotional intelligence, ethical judgment, or basic respect for people. You can't do this. Rachel's voice rose to a shriek. This is personal vendetta. This is business. I cut her off. Derek's app would fail. His leadership style is toxic. His market analysis is shallow. These are professional assessments. Professional? Derek's voice cracked. You married me. You said you loved me. I did love you. Past tense. I moved to the door. I loved who I thought you were. Who you pretended to be before you had an audience to perform for. What am I supposed to do now? Every VC in Seattle knows Apex passed. That's a death sentence for funding. I paused at the threshold. You're smart, Derek. You'll figure it out. Maybe try building something real instead of performing success for Instagram. Mia. His voice broke. Please. I'm sorry. I was wrong about Rachel. About everything. Give me another chance. I looked at him. Really looked. At the man I'd shared a life with. Who'd made himself so small trying to look big. You had 6 years of chances. You spent them explaining my world to me while standing in my house, eating my food, sleeping beside my success, and never once seeing it. I smiled sadly. The divorce papers are real. My lawyer will contact you tomorrow. You'll get what's fair, half of what we built together during the marriage. The apartment lease is in my name, by the way. I paid first and last month. You have 30 days. Half of what we built. I built Engage Flow. I built my consulting business. That's mine. And I built a $400 million venture fund. I think my half is larger. I nodded to James. Let's go. The elevator chimed. The doors opened. Did you ever love me? Derek's voice was hollow. Any of it real? I stepped into the elevator. Every meal I cooked. Every late night I sat with you. Every dream I listened to. The doors began to close. That's what makes this hurt, Derek. You had someone who loved you for you. You traded her for someone who loved your ambition. His face was the last thing I saw before the door sealed shut. The Apex Ventures boardroom occupied the entire 20th floor of the Columbia Tower. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Elliott Bay. Live-edge maple table. 10 chairs. 9 filled when I entered at 3:42 p.m. The 10th, at the head of the table, was mine. Sorry I'm late. I set my portfolio down. Unzipped it. Pulled out my laptop. Personal matter that required immediate attention. Everything all right, Mia? Sarah Park, our newest partner, looked concerned. Everything's perfect. I opened the quarterly report. Let's begin. We reviewed portfolio performance for 90 minutes. Atlas Corp was thriving after their pivot. Biogenesis needed additional funding, approved. TechFlow wanted to acquire a competitor, denied, overpriced. At 5:15, we reached new applications. EngageFlow. James pulled up the deck. Social commerce app. Seeking series of funding. 2 million asked. The slides filled the screen. Derek's slides. His gradient backgrounds. His stock photos. His impossible promises. Pass. I didn't hesitate. Agreed, Sarah said. The market's saturated. Their differentiation is unclear. Also, James added quietly, the founder's reputation is concerning. I made calls. He's known for high turnover, taking credit for others' work, and volatile personal relationships. I closed my laptop. Moving on. After the meeting, Sarah caught me at the elevator. That personal matter. It was Derek, wasn't it? I smiled. How did you know? James texted me a heads up. Said you might need backup. She paused. For what it's worth, I met him once at that TechStart mixer. He spent 20 minutes explaining venture capital to me while I was literally wearing my Sequoia Capital name tag. We both laughed. I spent 6 years loving someone who never saw me, I said quietly. I'm not angry. I'm just free. 3 weeks later, TechCrunch ran the story. Venture capitalist's secret marriage to failed founder. My PR team hadn't pitched it. Derek had talked to a reporter, trying to spin himself as the victim of a vindictive ex. It backfired spectacularly. The article included quotes from former colleagues describing Derek's arrogance. Screenshots of Rachel's Instagram posts mocking basic women who don't understand ambition. A sidebar about my actual credentials versus Derek's assumptions. The comments section eviscerated him. By Friday, Rachel had deleted her social media. Derek's LinkedIn showed he'd moved to Portland. Engage Flow never launched. 6 months later, I was working late in my office, real CEO office with mountain views and art I'd chosen myself, when my assistant buzzed. Dr. Takeda, there's a Derek Hartwell online too. He says it's urgent. I looked at the city lights below. Thought about the woman I'd been a year ago. The one who made herself small. Who hid her success to make someone else comfortable. She was still in me, but she'd found her voice. Tell him Dr. Takeda has no further business with him. Will do. I hung up. Returned to reviewing pitch decks. Real companies. Real founders. People building something meaningful. My phone buzzed. A text from Sarah. New accelerator cohort starts Monday. 60% women founders, 40% first-gen immigrants. We're changing the game. I smiled. Type back. This is what we built Apex for. Let's make them all successful. Outside my window, Seattle glowed. 24's up. The world looked vast and full of possibility. I'd spent 6 years being underestimated, being dismissed, being told I was small. Now I spent my days making sure founders in my portfolio never felt that way. The revenge wasn't in Derek's downfall, though that was satisfying. It was in this. I'd taken everything he thought made him important and used it to build something better. He'd wanted a supportive wife, a simple woman who'd be grateful for his attention. Instead, he got a powerhouse who'd been watching, learning, evaluating his every weakness while he mistook her silence for ignorance. 1 year after the divorce, my father called from Tokyo. How's my daughter? I leaned back in my chair. Busy. Happy. Myself. Good. He paused. Your mother and I always knew you'd be brilliant. But Mia? We're most proud that you stayed kind while he tried to make you small. After we hung up, I sat in the quiet office. No Derek. No Rachel. No one performing success for approval. Just me, my work, and the portfolio of companies I'd helped build. Not because I needed to prove myself, but because I loved the work. Derek had called me dead weight while standing on my foundation. Now he was gone, and the foundation remained. Stronger than ever. I played the long game. Endured the condescension. Kept my power quiet until the perfect moment. And when that moment came, I didn't just win. I walked away from someone who couldn't see my worth and built something extraordinary with people who could. Revenge is a dish best served cold. But success? Success is warm. It's funding women founders. It's building companies that matter. It's a portfolio transformed by actual vision, not performance. Derek lost his funding, his reputation, his carefully constructed image. I gained something better. Myself, undiminished and unashamed. The quiet woman in the corner was never weak. She was just waiting for the right moment to speak. And when she did, the whole industry listened.